Royals, which sets up our Thursday guest quite nicely. The Associated Press, Bernie Wilson, just back from a one-week stay in lovely Peoria. The surroundings around there, hopping, would you not? Remember what it was and what it is now? Quite the difference.
Oh, yeah. It used to be empty except for the ballpark. Now there's about 10 million people.
10 million people and about 20 restaurants and a theater.
Right, but the only place you need to know about is the Moon Saloon.
That's where you do all your
drinking, eating, scooping, everything.
All right, so tell us about one of your Moon Saloons. As you look at the Padres, you had 7 long days to look at the team.
Correct. Although I had to peel off to
Are you bullish or bearish on the San Diego Padres?
They will be more fun to watch. It's hard to say how many games in the division they're going to change from last year. I mean, the pitching staff obviously is a question mark. They got old guys, they got young guys. The position players, again, they'll be more fun to watch. Freddie Galvis at shortstop, Hosmer at first, and of course then they got to start getting the young guys up at some point, starting with the savior, Fernando Tatis Jr.
We'll get to the same. Hosmer gave a Rolex to Glenn Hoffman for...
I heard about that. What a guy. Wait till he throws the media party. We need to let him know that that's part of the function of an 8-year contract is you got to throw a media party.
The biggest question mark, obviously, as I think you were alluding to, is the pitching staff,
Pitching staff, yeah. I mean, the bullpen seems to be fine, but the rotation could be fine, but it's got old guys, it's got young guys, and not much in between.
So there are going to be some tough nights.
Could be.
A.J. Preller, savior?
He better be. I mean, he spent a lot of the Ron Fowler's money over the last several years.
And a little trial and error.
Yeah. I mean, at least to their credit, they realize the win now with the aging, overpriced veterans with no chemistry in the clubhouse wasn't working, so they cut bait. In fact, the savior is one of the benefits of that.
Getting rid of Shields.
Getting rid of Shields. He spent the $100 million on the Cubans and other young international players, and so then the next logical step was adding Hosmer. So now they just got to blend it all together like a margarita, and here we go. Right?
and his fate will really be decided. AJ's his final grade will largely depend on how the international contingent.
Right. Yeah. And the next wave, as they call it.
Yeah, which is
the
2 years out.
Crash onto shore. Yeah, you got to think at least 2 years, maybe 3. I mean, who knows?
Speaking of GMs, my goal hopefully is, when I'm dead and gone, that the people that gather together will say and speak in the same affectionate terms as they spoke for Kevin Towers at his celebration of life. I have never known somebody who's been so universally liked.
Oh, yeah. Sadly, I miss that because I was still in Peoria, but it sounds like a lot of baseball people were there. And he really was a tremendous guy. I mean, you looked at him. We're not supposed to be friends with people, that we cover, but he became a friend to everybody just because he was such a nice guy. He was honest. He never lied to us. Only one time in his years as GM did he say, "Bern, I can't help you on this trade because it's with the Yankees and can't help you." If you needed a salary, he'd tell you. If you needed other details, he'd tell you. And if you needed a beer, he'd drink one with you. He was that kind of guy, and it's really sad that he's gone.
All right, switching gears, Brian Dutcher meeting with the media on Thursday. The hot topic, as you might guess, remains Malik Pope and his reinstatement. Take a listen to this. We'll get your reaction.
More than victories, I'm just happy that Malik had a chance to clear his name. Your reputation is everything, and to having done the internal investigation and found no wrongdoing from Malik or his family, we're happy for Malik.
Ultimately, it was honestly an experience to learn from for me, and just happy to be back playing with my guys.
Is the worm turning in this story? That SDSU says full vindication. He's back playing.
Guess we have to believe him. So they didn't give us any proof. I mean, it's good that he got cleared.
But how do you prove a negative? I mean, how do you prove you didn't take money? It's up to them to prove that you did.
Well, the San Diego State said that Malik provided them with documents and provided them with the correct answers that they believe him. So
is the worm turning this story? We're going to get are there some journalists right now that are sweating this because the reputations, as Coach Dutcher was saying, were tainted?
There might be, but I don't know. I'm glad I'm not sweating right now.
What happens to ESPN if they get it wrong? I mean,
then heads probably will roll. There might be lawsuits, but obviously a story like that, you better be triple sure.
Have you ever been out on a limb like that where we were up at night thinking, oh, I hope I got this one right?
Not like that. I mean, I've had a few worries about coaching hires where you break it one day and it's not announced till the next day, and you sure hope that it's right, but not Sean Miller, $100,000, career on the line.
So you bring him up. He was reinstated today.
Right.
This is Sean Miller after the University of Arizona reinstated him as the basketball coach.
Let me be very, very clear. I have never discussed with Christian Dawkins paying DeAndre Ayton to attend the University of Arizona. In fact, I never even met or spoke to Christian Dawkins until after DeAndre publicly announced that he was coming to our school.
About us or the state of college basketball that we just all accepted it as gospel. Because we all think the NC2A and college basketball is pretty.
Well, nobody's seen these documents publicly. I mean, these are leaks, and he wasn't sweating, so he must be innocent. I mean, otherwise he'd sweat.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but again, nobody has seen. These aren't public documents.
Right.
They're leaks to Yahoo and to ESPN.
Yeah.
So nobody knows for sure.
Okay. Switching gears, I don't think we're going to see the reinstatement of Coach Smith anytime soon at USD, are we?
No.
Is that the worst 24-hour story you've ever? I mean, you watched a man's life deteriorate in the span of 30 hours.
Oh yeah, not only his life, but a lot of other people's
Yeah.
too. I mean, that's probably the last thing anybody expected a guy like him would be in trouble for, allegedly, of course.
Yeah.
But they're three pretty serious allegations.
Can USD rebound from that? No pun intended.
Well, they rebounded from a point shaving scandal.
Yeah.
But what they haven't rebounded from really is firing Brad Holland several years ago, which was a really stupid move.
Yeah. I wonder if they. But
a point shaving scandal is pretty bad within the program. This Lamont Smith thing, they'll rebound. He may not, but the program will.
I think this will be our last topic. Rick Willis, our Rick Willis, just did a CTE series on the political football, the Youth Football Safety Act here in Cali. Turns out the state of Illinois is even further down the road. Their state assembly voted 11-9 to make football, raise the minimum age for tackle football. It's getting closer to becoming law there. Politicians are on the march. What's your take on politics eliminating the age of football?
That's a tough one with the head injuries, but that should be a decision to be made by the parents and the kid. Our youngest kid played 5 years at Pop Warner, loved it, and was ready to play freshman football. Unfortunately, he got a concussion, and after his sophomore year quit. That was his decision. On the other hand, we are making mush of our children, whether it's broken bones, smashed brains. I was happy that my kid quit football, because it's hard to sit there on a Friday night and watch kids smash the snot out of each other. So
let's do this again.
Okay, bro.
Bernie Wilson, everybody. We'll have much more coming up tonight on the All Sports Report. We have a bunch of prep games coming your way. The 5 p.m. newscast is now over. The 6 p.m. newscast is coming around the bend.